3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody, and I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. Thanks for joining in with us on this lovely Monday night, I guess.
Monday afternoon, Monday night. I don't know, depending on when you're hearing this. At some point during Monday.
This is the Love is for Everyone podcast, and I'm Zach, and I'm back with the boys. We're going to be talking about the power of action tonight and the importance surrounding that. Instead of giving you guys that traditional question-answer podcast, we've decided to go more of a story format. So I asked the boys beforehand to just think of a couple stories in their past or even of recent that they've displayed or even been taught power of action and kind of just how that's influenced their life. So I'm going to start with Jacob and put him on the spot because he's always ready to go.
Sure. So in the terms of action, I'll go with my career or one of my first career choices in carpentry, and just the action of building so much. I've found that the emotions that you feel after completing the action and having a physical construct of that you created, it's very pride driven, and it has a lot of good feelings, especially when people come along and compliment it. A story recently, I guess within the last year that I have, is friends of mine, for their mother's birthday, I kind of talked them into building a patio set just that I had just kind of quickly designed myself and kind of came up for a concept, and I just kind of really pushed it more than they probably wanted to, because it was going to cost quite a bit of money to build. But I was just really intrigued with building it and seeing if I could do it, and it turned out very well, and they were very happy with it, and I was able to include them all in it and having them help with painting it and stuff like that. But just the way people appreciated it, even myself feeling prideful that literally this was just something that I tried to push, and I just drew up in a sketchbook and was like, I think this will work. Maybe this will look like a chair. Maybe it won't. At the end of the day, and it turned out really well, and they were over ecstatic with how happy they were with it. I'm just hoping it lasts them a long time. But yeah, just through carpentry work, and I know I used to work for your dad, Zach, and when we would leave a job and see how happy the customer was after redoing a house, or simply even doing very simple drywall patchwork, or just knowing you did that, and that kind of pride. Not so much that sinful pride, but just being prideful.
It's a sense of fulfillment almost.
Yeah, that fulfillment.
You get to drive around Coburg and you get to see that house and you'd be like, hey, I helped, or I even built that house, It's
exactly. You drive by a house, and sometimes I'll just be like, I did that there. I did that there. And right? So there is that always sense of fulfillment, and you always remember that through that action, and you can't do that without taking that first step in that action to do it.
Yeah. So you kind of explain the feelings in the process, through the process of it, but explain the grind of it, because there's not always pretty days to it, and there are a lot of days where I imagine you want to just throw that hammer through the wall.
A lot of times you're just the cut you make's a little too small, you're not reading your tape measure right that day, or if you're doing drywall work and mudding and stuff, you just keep accidentally putting a little line in the drywall mud, and you're like, hey guy, you're wanting to throw everything. It can be a very frustrating trade to be in, and that's kind of what separates people from being in that. And
it takes a hell of amount of skill, and
it's a lot of patience and with yourself. And sometimes you do just need to take a step back and walk away very much. And yeah, it can get overwhelming if you just keep attacking and attacking and attacking it, and just not really learning from what you did before, or even the planning process before you start. You have to be very meticulous in the process that you use and make sure that you're being up to code with the trade, as well as just what if I do this action, how does it affect every action before? So I guess it kind of goes into that working smart instead of hard too, with the trade. But yeah, you got to be very meticulous and just thought out before you even apply that action too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. No, it's an interesting perspective because I grew up on the job site, so almost to see how it was like for you to work underneath my dad and learn from him and stuff like that, but also to see that reflection of the success, like you said, of the finished product and stuff. The journey is obviously long
and hard and heavy, and like it's grimy, and sometimes it sucks. And
yeah. So how'd you stay focused? Or how'd you stay motivated is maybe a better question. Because I know those are early mornings, like every day, Monday to Friday, you're getting up and you're working all hours of the day under the sun or whatever. And that can be draining on the body. So I'm curious how you did it.
I don't know. Journey. A lot of it, like, I know working for your dad, like he was always like if you did do a good job, he always complimented you. And it even goes back to the one job we had, with customers. There was one job where we never got complimented from the customers. Every time they'd come in, it was change this, change that. We don't like this. We don't like that. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? This isn't clean enough. Blah, 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 blah. It seemed like every day there was just a complaint. Nothing seemed to go well. And
I remember them.
I think I know the job you're talking about too.
Yeah. But yeah, like even that, like being able to see the smile on the customer's face every time they came through and seen things change, and they're like, wow, this looks amazing. Just that feeling, that fulfillment was why you woke up in the morning to do what you did, no matter how many times you got cuts on your hands, no matter how many times you ended up wanting to throw your hammer through a wall or anything like that. And yeah, and I know your dad eventually got fed up with that job and left that job because that was one of the big things, is he just got fed up with always being put down by the customer, essentially. And while I was able to be on that job site, it was the same thing. You're always questioning, paranoid, because like I had to clean that house every day, to the point of like, you don't understand how hard it is to keep a construction site next to like as spotless as your house is when it's fully done, and you're living
next
in
to
it.
Impossible.
It is. But I had to take like that meticulous cleaning to the entire thing, because they were going to go through and be, it's too dusty. I don't like it. Why is this like this, and complain. And it's just
because it's not
it's infuriating really when somebody does that, and you're like, you don't understand. I've spent 4 or 5 hours doing nothing but sweeping every little corner of your house for the last 4 months.
Was the wife's name Karen?
I don't know what her name was. I just always remember when they showed up, I was as far away as possible when they were around. And then I usually stayed away from your dad for a while afterwards, because I knew he probably wasn't in the greatest mood after talking with them. But
well, and that's kind of what tonight's episode is about, is that power of action and the whole journey of it, not just the good, but also the ugly. And there were a lot of times where I remember him coming home and he still was heated, because you'd get in those environments that would wrap you up, because he's very passionate about what he does. Yeah. So when it's not done right, he feels, whether it's he's putting it down on himself or he's putting it in frustration because he doesn't understand. Mm-hmm. There's lots of different reasons throughout that kind of journey, but to get upset. But the main thing is that you got back on track.
Yeah, you woke up the next morning because of your passion for what you're doing and the hope that maybe it might be different, and that you're going to finally have that breakthrough of that action. I know, Nate, you wanted, with working out, with more your perspective, but like that whole eventually realizing what you've reached. And I know you worked out a ton. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that with your action towards that.
Yeah, I was going to talk about just like my fitness journey, and then playing sports when I was younger too, especially. I think when I was about 10 years old, like I shot pucks a lot and shot a lot of baskets for basketball. And yeah, just putting in that time and wanting to be better, but also just kind of embracing the grind and know if I want to get good, I have to, put up at least 100 shots a day, or even some days I probably shot like 500 pucks and 500 baskets. I always just loved like being active, and that was kind of like an active meditation for me. And yeah, you have to have a grinding mindset. Like for basketball with free throws, I would practice, and if I missed a free throw, then I would do full court sprint all the way down, layup, and then do it same thing back, and then go right back to the line. So I was kind of trying to practice in-game situation, shoot like 2 free throws at a time, and then if I made both, then I would just reset in my head that I'm going to shoot 2 more, and then if I missed, then I kind of torture myself a little bit to make myself want to be better. And also just when you're playing a game, it's not like you just go in the gym and you're shooting free throws and you have all your energy and you have your legs under you. So I wanted to be practicing realistic game situations as much as possible. And then when I'd say I started working out when I was 17, I did my co-op at the Y in grade 11, and I did it after school. So when I kind of started working out there, I would work out at my dad's house, and then I would go do my co-op, and then after that I would often hit the gym for an hour and a half again. So I was working out like crazy for a while, and then kind of continued that into grade 12, started working out at any time, and with you, Zach. And I don't know if we ever worked out together when we were maybe near the end of grade 12 and stuff, but
yeah, I remember a few times, but not a ton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I had double spare in the afternoon in second semester of grade 12. So, Zach, I think you had it like third or fourth period or something. So we would like hit the gym.
Yeah, that or I skipped. I can't remember.
But yeah, just it teaches you discipline when you're taking that action every day and you're building upon something. So I'd say that's the biggest thing for me for like power of action is just being consistent with it for sure.
Too, even at the one point, I guess, if you get, like, almost caught up in that grind, there's that one point where you go, like, I mean, depending on what your motivation is to work out, some people it's very physical of wanting to make themselves, like, look good. Mm-hmm. Eventually you get into the mirror in the morning and you're like, damn, like, look at all the work I've put in and how it's turning out, or with your free throw shooting or shooting pucks, eventually there's, like, damn, like you're not missing free throws this game, or that shot was nuts. Like you have an insanely hard shot. How did you do that? And you're like, I just shoot pucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like that's just, that's kind of, I guess, the fulfillment inside of that as
well. And what he was mentioning with consistency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always had like different workout goals just depending what I was doing. When I first started, I just wanted to get bigger and stronger because I was always a skinny guy growing up, and yeah, you get kind of tired of hearing that shit after a while, so it's like, oh, maybe I'll just get the gym and be stronger than all of you. So,
and you did that though. But talk about the feelings of the grind, or just the feelings of once you accomplish your goals. Kind of just take us through because it is like you said, you have to be consistent. But I like what you also said with you terrorized your body, like you pushed yourself to limits that you didn't think you could go to. And that's the whole part, or a big part of power of action is that you will find yourself in the middle of it, pushing yourself to limits.
You hit that wall eventually.
Mm-hmm. Well, pushing yourself to new limits. Yeah. It's like you can always find that you can go farther once you're in the middle of it. And you very much did that. Yeah. Because there was a point where I saw you and I was like, damn, like this guy's putting on 20 pounds of muscle over this past year. It's like, that was crazy, and he was consistent about it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I was just, very fascinated, I guess, by your journey. So take us through
definitely some, like you're saying, how I was like working super hard and pushing to new limits. And that was sometimes to my own detriment, because that is a thing too, is overworking yourself in the gym. And I didn't really know fully what I was doing at the time. And then even after being out of school, because I was in fitness and health promotion and learning more about exercise, now I've kind of at the standpoint where you don't overdo it all the time. Like, you don't need to be super sore after your workout. Just like, I think that's what a lot of guys do, especially, is like, I'm going to work out till like I feel sore, like at the gym, which
pain and gain, right?
Yeah, exactly. No pain, no gain mentality. And well, there's that movie with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. That, I mean, sick movie, but and I think it was that movie kind of made me have that mindset too. It was like, holy shit, The Rock just pumped out 80 push-ups like it was nothing. And yeah, just I think a lot of guys do have that mindset. So now I have the mindset of just work out to what my goals are, and now it's not get like as big as possible. It's just kind of maintain general fitness. And at one point I was training my vertical, so I was just doing very specific exercises for that. And that's what a lot of people don't realize about working out, like improving a skill like that, is just focusing on it specifically. You can make a lot of progress in a short amount of time. So I think that was like a 3-month program I did. And I think when we were going to the gym together a lot during that time, I think that's what I was doing. I started showing you how to like deadlift and stuff. And then that was like when I first started learning how to deadlift. And then there was like a trainer there that gave us some pointers and stuff. So I've always been appreciative of that at the gym. It's happened to me 2 or 3 times, I think, where trainers set up like, oh, like you can kind of fix this in your squat and stuff. And like, it's such a big difference because so many people at the gym do half the shit wrong, to be honest.
Well, you're almost paranoid when you're at the gym too. It's like you're looking around and you see somebody looking at you or something, and you're like, why are they looking at me? Am I doing something wrong? Like, am I doing this workout right? Because you may not have a clue, and you may have just maybe watched a YouTube video and you're still not really sure. And that can be like that sort of negativity that gets in your head that can deter you from continuing your grind and stuff like that. As well.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, you won't, if you're just beginning and a person you're watching on YouTube or something is doing it wrong, you would have no idea. So then you might start imitating how they're doing it, and you're just messing your body up.
So how'd you go about, you said you had a lot of trainers that helped you kind of fix your technique, but
yeah, like just, that was when I was in Ottawa. Like, there was a guy that worked out there, and he was a trainer as well. He didn't work at that gym, but he just gave me a couple pointers on my squat, and then like it made a huge difference for sure. And then that woman in Coburg as well, and then the trainer that I shadowed when I was in my program, like he gave me lots of tips and stuff. And he did a very different kind of training too with his clients. He always did circuit training, which I don't think I've seen too many trainers do that, but his clients seem to get pretty good results. So, yeah.
That's
the biggest thing is
I always trained with circuit training. I didn't really have like heavy weightliftings to what more you're probably traditional in. I always did more of that, I guess, body weight circuit.
Yeah, it really just depends what your goals are, and like that. A lot of hockey training programs are more circuit training for sure, but. Yeah, it's definitely good for general fitness people that are just kind of learning stuff. But yeah, you're not going to hop right into a program like Bounce Kit, which is the one I did for training my vertical, because you kind of have to have the fundamentals down before you really start doing something like that.
And that's a good point of advice for anybody that's going into anything, really, is get that routine solidified, whether it's write it out in a journal or make an audio message for yourself, or just remember it, but have that kind of pre-plan before you even plan it, and then you can execute it much, much more successfully. No, that's good advice, man.
Thanks.
I want to take it more into that sports field. I know you talked the health and fitness, but my story is more related to personal success within the ball diamond, and kind of how I found my groove at a young age. It started, I want to say 15.
Okay.
And I was just getting my confidence up. I was just getting my technique up. I was starting to feel like I was the star of the team kind of thing now, and I was the face of the team. And I think it was the year before you joined, Nate, and played that one season with us. But I ended up getting asked to go out for asked to join another team for an Eastern Conference Canadian Championship, and we ended up going there and competing really well. I think we had a perfect round robin, and we unfortunately ended up, I think, with second. And I went home, and at the end of all of it, through qualifiers, or not even before that, through the training, through the season, regular season, then your qualifying tournament, your provincial tournament, and then your national championship, just the whole grind of one little summer can really change your mindset on things and just how quickly time goes. And that's why it's so important that, like you said earlier, Nate, is the consistency of it. Mm-hmm. I found with my personal experiences, like through that grind, I was exhausted, but I never let myself tell, my brain that I was exhausted or my body that I was exhausted.
Yeah.
So like I would feel it in the morning. I would wake up, but it didn't matter because I had stuff to do. Yeah. Like I woke up with a purpose every morning, and and I had to checklist that stuff off. So I had my morning workout, I had my runs, I had that training with the specific to the sport, and I was eating right. My nutrition was square, but all those little things.
I remember that in college or in high school, the meal plan every day coming to school.
Yeah,
pretty much the same thing every day, and you're just like, "This is the meal plan." It's the meal plan.
Chicken breast.
Yeah, chicken breast, rice. Pasta. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And you just had it down, and I guess like you said, the consistency, like you said with the grind, it's just you have to be on top of it, and you have to stay motivated. Because if you can't stay motivated, then you will quickly find yourself falling into, little things that you don't think are a big deal at the time that end up escalating. And for me, you guys already know this, but it was drug addiction. And that's where, at the end of high school and stuff, when I went to university and off into that, I just fell off into a different, routine because I left that atmosphere and that environment that I was constantly in of baseball or hockey or whatever training.
You lost that structure really that you had through sports, which
absolutely
left a hole that you then unfortunately chose to fill with drugs.
Mm-hmm. And that also had to do with my social environment.
Yeah.
I went to university and all my friends around me were kind of doing that same stuff. You're boozing, you're smoking weed.
Well, that also affects action very much.
Which is the point I wanted to drive home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was when I got to university, I had a plan. Mm-hmm. I had that same meal plan lined up that I was gonna do, and I had that workout routine that I wanted to accomplish around my school schedule. And that's what I wanted to talk about was the polar opposites of that with my experience, I guess, with action is that I've had it and it feels amazing when you accomplish something that you are truly passionate about. And that was for me when I finally won gold medal at a national championship. And whether or not I was a huge part of that team, I was still able to ride or die all the way to the finals with them. And that sense of accomplishment at the end of, I guess, the bigger picture, not just that season, but just my whole career kind of as a broad...
Kind of leading up to that moment of I don't know how many years you did play for them. But
I bounced...
Every year from that first year that you started was working towards that gold medal.
Yeah, and it ended up paying off, right? And a lot of guys had quit that year before, and it was just that perseverance of going at it that one more time and saying, you know what? This might not be for all of them. You start college, you start changing up your likes, or even your interests. Some guys are no longer into that summer sport kind of idea. You got a girlfriend, you got a job, you got the beach, whatever. You start going and doing those things rather than commitment to one specific thing. And because of my drive with sports, I felt that complete sense of satisfaction when I got to hoist up that medal. It was just wow, damn, that one curl that I started with at the very beginning when I was 10 years old just paid off to this moment right here. And that's a 10-year gap or a 12-year gap, right? It's you can never put a timeline on success until you get there, and when you get there.
Well, that's not to cut you off.
No, not at all.
That's kind of thing you hear it more now than you did before, but you got to fall in love with the journey.
Yeah.
More than the destination of where you're going to go, because that's what you're going to remember the most of. the moment that you reach that destination, whether it be a trophy or whatever it could be, it'll fade pretty quick.
Yeah, because they're material objects. Right?
Yeah, that, and it's hard to really stay in that sort of present mindset, in that excitement. You're so excited you have no words for probably what's happening at that time, and your probably mind's going a million places at once in 1 second, right? Like at that time. Yeah, it's really hard to sit down and take in what's happening.
I felt that very much. It was like, holy shit, we just won. I just won. Like, this is it. Like,
but at the same time, you probably sit in the moment with it a lot more when you're sitting there at the gym and putting in those curls and dreaming about achieving that.
Yeah, and which I think Nate drove home like very well when he said like about his kind of health and fitness journey. Is it's all about that. It's in the moment. If you don't push yourself to that next rep or that next set, then all of it before that just goes to waste.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I wanted to talk about a little bit with that experience in university and how much it just switched. It was just all my routine it felt like one thing was getting picked out of my routine, one thing at a time, where I'd spend an hour and a half at the gym. It was now an hour and a half in my bed getting high. And it was like, okay, now my hour and a half is gone. After the gym, I'd eat. I'd have a smoothie, whatever.
You're
now,
healthy. And
now it's open up a bag of chips because I got the munchies, or order a pizza.
Yeah.
And it just slowly escalated to little things where that became my daily routine. The negative stuff that or the cheat days, that became a daily thing. And it affected my mental health very quickly. I started, talking down upon myself. There was that time where I did get into the suicidal thoughts and stuff that we don't really need to dig into today. But yeah, it was just, I very much was down on myself. And
I would probably wake up one morning and look in the mirror and go, who is this guy?
Yeah, very much. Very much. And there was a good portion of that time where I saw myself lose a lot of muscle mass. I saw myself, even a level of attraction to my social peers went down. The amount of time and energy that they wanted to spend with me went down. And these were all things that I thought I was just, I'm not fitting in, or, like I'm just not working it out here, or this maybe isn't my group. But it was all me at the end of the day, damaging myself and talking down on myself. And that was the reason and the cause for, other people seeing that and seeing your reflection. And I was no longer wearing that mask, I think, was my biggest thing. So I stopped giving a shit about other people's opinion. So I would come to school depressed. And people would notice it. And for anyone that would be empathetic at all would see it. Because when I'm mad, the whole world knows I'm mad. And you guys both laugh.
Well, we've witnessed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Degree, right?
Exactly, right? Or when I'm upset, you can almost, you can feel my heart bleed because it's hurting so much. And I just very, very expressionate with my, I guess, facial expression.
Yeah, you wear it on your face.
If that makes sense.
You wear your emotions on your sleeve.
Very much so. Very much so.
I do a lot too. And I kind of went through that. I think we probably both fell off the wagon, kind of at the same time in first year. It was second semester when it really started to, get bad for me. But when I went there, and that's why I had, the discipline still, is because of what I was going to school for. And then also you're in fitness and health, and you see how much mass the other guys in your program are putting on, and it kind of motivates you to do the same. I mean, some of them are taking steroids, so that's not realistic to keep up to.
Yeah,
but but never want to be that big. But yeah, even it was funny. There was one guy even he wasn't even taking steroids, but he just put on so much mass on his arms that I thought he might have been juicing. But it's you can just stay consistent and make quick gains, but. Yeah, with second semester when I started to fall off and then depression got bad, then it finally got bad enough that I was if I don't go to talk to someone, then that's I just can't fucking live like this anymore. So there's another power of taking action, is if you are feeling down, just taking that step to go talk to someone. And then I remember the very first time I went after because it was just down the road actually from where I lived, where I went, but you just feel like you actually feel physically lighter. Like you can feel that weight lifted off your chest. Like it is kind of a cliche, but it was definitely true for me. So yeah, I encourage people, if you're in that situation, just take that step.
A lot of it is a sense of being heard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I know when I was in the same boat at university, and I went to therapy at one point as well, and I just was tired of not, like, my voice just not being heard.
Yeah.
Whether it was in a lecture hall or whether it was at the club or in my social setting in the library, whatever.
Yeah.
It was just, I felt like I was just shunted. Nobody wanted my opinion, and I think I have a pretty okay opinion with most things. You know, I'm pretty open to giving good advice. Intellectual, at least. But yeah, no, and I feel that, Nate. I feel that, bud.
No, I remember that too, because like I've talked on the podcast too about reaching out to the friends that were close to me in that college setting, and reaching out to them first, essentially, before, because I've always been weary of counseling. I don't know, I've had more of like a family stigma with it, and I guess going into like my grandparents and the way they brought up my dad's side of the family, and that whole like, if your kid goes to a shrink, you're a bad parent kind of stigma. So I've always had like this weird sensation with, I guess, therapy and just uneasiness with it. But that's really one time where I was just like, I'm trying to open up to my friends and none of them want to listen, and the people that are immediately around me. And so I just, one day I just went and I quit. I just didn't go to class. I didn't go anywhere. I just woke up that morning. I was like, I'm going to go. And I just went, sat down in the office, and then eventually the receptionist lady wasn't there. The first time I got there, she walked in and she's like, "Do you have an appointment?" I was like, "No, I just need to see somebody and talk." And they're like, "Okay." And it gave me like a form to sign out for medical reasons and shit. And then I just basically bawled my eyes out in front of this counselor girl. But I remember it was very, like, as you said, very uplifting, and I felt a huge release, because I actually felt like somebody heard me, and they responded in a way that made me feel truly heard. And taking that action has really led up to, well, where we are now, I guess, with starting this and
hell yeah,
business.
I'm so proud of both of you guys for taking that step, because there was a point where I didn't even know either of that was going on.
Yeah, like, same with you, man. Yeah, I was like, we just didn't, that's just kind of how guys are with mental health. Like, we don't really, I mean, now we all do, since we've all, like, gone through that shit, but, like, at the time, it was, I don't really know what it was. It wasn't that, like, we knew that each other would listen and stuff, but it was, like, almost not wanting to appear weak in front of each other, I guess. And
I think that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I was, you especially, Nate, were, like, blood brother. Like, we could not be. We were getting closer, Brownie, but
yeah, we weren't exactly there yet.
Exactly, right? And there was a time where I was thinking about you and thinking about reaching out to you, Nate, and I was like, he's gonna think of me as like a weasel. Like, he's not gonna think of me as this guy that he once viewed, this put together, person, his best friend, the guy that he can come to. He's gonna think of me as much less, and that scared the shit out of me, because, again, you drove it home, like, being a male, you never know, I guess, like, the feeling of fully being, like, accepted or loved or heard, or, I don't know what the right word is, but it's just, like, the feeling of full sensation or full fulfillment. Am I making any sense?
Yeah. No,
like towards other men, you mean? Or,
or towards others in general.
Well, yeah, there's always that competitive mindset towards men of like that alpha male kind of mentality of like, I want to be better than you, or you want to appear stronger and that more of a manly man than the guy sitting next to you. So it creates that stigma that leads to that, and I guess you kind of had that, and you appeared that way to Nate, knowing that he could come to you because you were this sort of tough persona, but you didn't want to.
I thought.
Yeah. Hence why
I clearly wasn't.
But yeah, no. And I know for me, it's more of a presence thing. It's like, I have a hard time with, I guess, communication over technology. It's just never really appealed to me that you can really connect, and it's hard to really display emotions and get that across through technology in a lot of ways, even though you have FaceTime and you have phone calls. But I don't know, it's just like it's never my go-to. I rather sit down, feel like the person's energy next to me, and know that their ears are wide open to you and they're not
somewhere else
in their head.
Yeah, exactly.
And that presentness of them is, for me, what really helps with that kind of situation. But
yeah, well, if you're listening to this right now, text your best friend and tell him you love him. Yeah. That's my challenge for tonight's episode, because it's really important. And you're not weak for saying that. You're not weak for saying you need help by any means. God, I wish I'd done it way earlier. Like, I wish I went to a therapist so many years earlier, because I could have avoided things. And not to say that experience didn't teach me things, or those experiences didn't, give me valuable life lessons. It's just, damn, it helps so much to help, or to talk to someone. And that's where my next question was. And it's, where can we start? Like, as Love is for Everyone, where can we start to help the community and help people that are feeling like they are not in a very strong routine, or maybe not even in a positive routine at all?
Well, I think we've kind of done that to some degree with just inviting you guys to reach out to us. Again, we're always, if you reach out to us on our personal accounts or through the main account, or even if you do happen to have one of our numbers, I know we want to get our phone numbers maybe out there at some point, so you can maybe personally text us, and that we've been discussing it. But just us doing that and opening ourselves up to that line of communication to people, as well as I know with our event coming this weekend, and
already passed.
Yeah,
our website's already launched.
But then we do have the second date, like next week.
Yeah, we do have our second
on the 24th.
Coming up, and just through those events, not only with what we're trying to achieve with the event for Earth Week and Earth Day, but also being able to maybe have that kind of talk with somebody just off to the side and start. It might take that more interpersonal conversation to be like, hey, like, if you're dealing with something, like, we can get a time together, go grab a coffee, or even you can come over to my house and chill for a bit, and maybe we could watch, like, the Raptors game or Jays game and just have a chill setting and shoot the shit. And just kind of make time for that. And I know we've talked about other events and stuff, but creating that space where people feel safe and can share with that stuff. And maybe it's just that little bit of advice to make them to go see that therapist, or even take that, whatever that little action may be that gets that ball rolling for them and leads to those healing steps.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here. I mean, we're open on our end, so it's just, you guys, it's your turn. Take the first step. We obviously don't know if you're hurting, but there are obviously a lot of people hurting right now. So even if you aren't the person bleeding right now, just reach out to maybe that person that is, or maybe you think they are, and give them our contact information or our social information, because we want to be a part of their journey of their mental health.
Yeah, we want to,
and helping them improve it.
See the light, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, we're not like qualified therapists, obviously, but I think that's kind of the stigma for some people, is they're kind of intimidated by going to therapy. They don't really know what it's going to be like, because they don't just see them as a regular person. They know that they're trained to help them, and they're going to kind of help them see through their shit pretty quickly. So,
and that can be scary too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
If you can't like self-identify your issues and to some degree. And
yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, if you would be more comfortable talking to one of us, then you're more than welcome to, and we're always here for an open ear.
Yeah. I was going to have a few more questions, but you guys are doing so damn good right now that
thanks, man.
I'm just going to keep it I'm just going to keep it nice and easy. And I'm going to close out here, and just, if you guys don't want to answer this, it's all right too, but What are ways that you do on your daily or weekly or monthly journey that keep you on track, that keep you in that power of action lane? And, that obviously we all need days off. Like we spoke last week about me going camping.
Yeah.
You just run into a wall, you need days off.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What's your daily routine? What's your weekly update? What's your monthly update kind of look like to you?
For me, like I don't really have much of a set routine. Like I try and I do kind of the same things every day, but it's not like I have a lot of structure to my day, because I find I just like kind of going with the flow. That's just what I personally like. But yeah, I usually try and exercise at some point in the day for at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and taking a lot of baths this year. It's been part of my daily routine. So much better than shower.
He's a bath guy.
I'm that guy now.
He's a bath guy.
I do rinse off in the shower after, though.
I'm going to get him one of them bath bombs from...
Give me a THC one, dude. I think we have them at work, to be honest. But
I mean...
I'm going to get you one of those
I'm not going to badmouth
pink, fluffy
baths. I
ones.
like them, but I'm still more of like the cold tub kind of person. If I do it.
If I'm going in a tub, it's in a hot tub.
Yeah, fair.
Or like
fair.
a jacuzzi tub.
Yeah, fair enough.
I ain't getting in a fucking gross bath. You're just sitting in your dead skin. And
that's why I rinse off in the shower after.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
do hot, really hot bath and cold shower after.
Okay, I'm cutting into your routine here, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I had to make fun of you.
Then I've been doing most of the social media stuff for us, so I just do that throughout the day, and then when I'm not actively doing that, I'm just trying to learn more stuff for the business or learn stuff that I'm personally interested in. And yeah, I have been kind of taking more breaks lately, and I think that's why I was getting so frustrated in the first couple months we were doing this, because I was not taking breaks and I was grinding for 12 to 16 hours a day some days, and I burnt myself out. Yeah, 100%. I was doing I was in the mindset of I always need to be doing something, and then I kind of overdid it, and I was just always mentally exhausted just from overthinking and consuming so much information. And
was it the mental exhaustion that stopped you, or was there a moment where you're like, I need to switch it up for just making better quality posts or better quality time for you to think? Or
I don't know. I'm not a social media savant by any means, so I was just kind of figuring out new ways to make the quote posts and stuff and make them look better. And yeah, just kind of going through Instagram and seeing what other accounts that are doing similar stuff to us are doing. So I think that's what I was spending a lot of time on. And then also just trying to learn how to spread our message as effectively as possible. And that's,
hell yeah.
I mean, we're still working on that. We're doing our best, but because there's a lot of lies going on in society, and we're gonna point some of those out. And honestly, pretty soon, probably in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna dive right into that. So, So enjoy that when we get to it. It's gonna.
So a lot of it
heavy.
has been prep, and a lot of it has been learning, which is a huge part of the beginning of anything, and that's clearly where we're at. So that's good to know, that you're, I guess, I'm your boss right now. You better be on track here, boys. How about you, Brownie?
For just kind of keeping the action, that, ball rolling, I like to use that a lot. But, I don't know, lately it's been tough just because working a full-time job and then doing this, and, it's a lot. Yeah. I used to... Beginning of when we started this, I was hammering stuff out for us really fast and being able to do a lot more, and it just feels like I haven't been able to do as much, so it's kind of stressing me out a bit, just where I am kind of in that position that you were in, Nate, where it's I think I should be doing more, but I just, my brain's exhausted and I'm trying to push myself to that, so it's making it hard to do that action. But the biggest thing is just taking that time for myself, letting myself rest. I know my mom and Ken have been on me a little bit on hanging out with them upstairs, but it's just like, some days, like, I think it was last Sunday, I slept the whole day. But that's just because I literally just needed to, like, my brain was dead.
You need to recharge.
Yeah, exactly. So things like that where I can just relax, just find that relaxing space, whatever it is. Even sometimes I find it's weird where I get into this learn mode and, like, I'll spend 8 hours on YouTube watching videos on a new subject to learn about it. But, like, it's almost relaxing and meditative for me. But it's just because I'm just letting my brain flow with the curiosity. But it's still just letting that, I guess, that go through me. I don't know how to really say that. But just letting that flow and not really putting that outside energy into it. It's just like, I'm just doing this. I don't know.
It's almost like a hobby.
Yeah, that's sort of hobby,
what it feels
just to
like.
get your mind away from things for a little bit. But that kind of, I guess, relaxation and just get away, either take the dog for a walk and just get that mind space, go for a hike, something like that, really helps get that mind space to then sit back down and refocus and refocus on what the task is at hand to put the action towards.
That's good. That's good.
They're just feeding the passion that you have for what you're doing in some form or manner to really, when you do have that energy, to really push and make leaps and bounds, I guess, within what you are doing that you're passionate about.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. I wasn't looking for any specific thing. I don't know. Just tips, yeah. I mean, like daily things that I do that I make sure that I do every day. You guys aren't Christian, but I am, and I read every day. I just try and read like half an hour of the Bible. That's part of my routine. I try and eat right. Obviously, nutrition is huge, but you know, when you're not doing much, and right now I'm not working as much as I'd hope, like at Extendicare there, or at my retirement home. But, anyways, yeah. And so you find yourself with a lot of free time, and free time can be dangerous, but it also can be motivating. So if you do have the right mindset, you can fill in that free time very effectively. And thankfully I've had lots to do with this. Been getting ready I got ready for the weekend. And, yeah, as you can see, we're recording this before the event.
A few days before the event, so if you couldn't tell already.
So hopefully we're looking that, like, it's gonna be good.
Well, the three of us will be there.
Yeah, the three of us will be there, which will mean it'll be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure like a few of the boys will probably come out if they can, and I don't know if our parents will, or I don't know.
Well, you guys will find out on Sunday or yesterday, however you want to look at it. But I think we're pretty run out of. I'm run out of questions. So
I think we hit the point pretty good with action. I thought on today.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm glad we all agree. Let's hope that you guys agree too. Thanks for tuning in again to the Life Podcast. I'm Zach here with Jacob and Nathan. We really appreciate you guys coming in, and remember to DM us about the upcoming event or the event that's already happened.
Well, the 24th.
Yeah, you can shoot us the one for the 24th as well.
Yeah, you'll have seen by now the 18th what we have done and what we're planning to do with it. So if you are interested after seeing that, we're doing this again on the 24th. Doing it again on the 24th. So you're more than welcome to come out. Just
we encourage you.
Give us a shout, and we'll let you know more details.
Yeah.
As well as don't be afraid to DM us with any personal things you're going through. Again, we don't mind to be that little bit of a push to take that action to heal yourself.
Yeah, our chat's always open, and like Brownie said, our DM is ready. But if you want to be, if you want to talk to a specific one of us, whether you want to talk to Nathan or Jacob or myself specifically, feel free to say that as well. We won't take any offense if you want to, if you've hit off with one of us or you really like listening into one of our stories. We're all here for the same purpose. We care about you guys so much. We love you guys, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in all the way to the end. And if you haven't already, check out our website, loveisforeveryone.ca, and go buy our stuff. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Have a great night.
Peace.
Cheers.